Okay, this is my Leslie. It is a model 31H. It's one of the first style Leslies. This one has been cut down. They made it shorter at this joint right here before I bought it. They usually stand about 5 foot tall, this particular model. I don't know, they probably shortened it because they wanted it to look more like the newer style 147 or 122. But this is a 31H. I put wheels on it. It's not very heavy, but it's all tube. It's got a top rotor and a bottom rotor. I'll pull the back off from it and show you what the rotors are and show you the amplifier and everything like that. Alright, so I've got the back off the Leslie. First thing you'll notice is there's a lot of dust in there. But that's okay because it doesn't really affect the operation. Basically what you have is in this enclosure here is a 15-inch speaker, field coil speaker, driving down into this. And this is a drum. There's basically a swoop inside there so that the actual speaker sound comes out one side of this. And this rotates around. There's a motor here that drives it. This rotates around, and so the sound goes around. Comes out the louvers on the front and on the sides and on the back. It's one speed. It's fast or off. The 31H is only a one-speed Leslie. Now in the upper section you have the famous Leslie horns, which also spin. Now, contrary to what most people believe, only one of these horns works. The sound only comes out one of these horns. The other one is a dummy for weight balance, and so that it cuts through the air the same as the one that's actually letting out the sound. Now there's little baffles on the ends of here that Don Leslie put on here for a reason. A lot of people will take these off. It will affect the sound because the sound comes right straight out that way. This way is less piercing because the sound doesn't come out directly right straight out the horn. It's deflected out the sides slightly. Now I've converted this upper horn to 2-speed. This is a standard fast speed motor, and it has a 2-speed, the low speed motor down here. So instead of having fast and off like the bottom drum has, you have fast and slow. So when you first turn it on, it'll be going slow to give you a nice choral sound or chorale sound, and then you can kick it up into high gear and it gives you the fast tremolo. Now basically what's in here is just a horn driver facing up, and there's a pivot here that this swings on so the actual speaker doesn't move, the same as the bottom drum. The speaker's mounted to this piece of plywood here facing down, and only the drum part moves. The speaker does not actually move. And then back in here is the tube amplifier. It's got a quad of, I think they're 5881s. It's Class A. There's 2 rectifier tubes. It's Class A, about 30 watts. Now you see this switch here. It's actually on the outside of the Leslie. That's just a plug-in deal here, and I've got the bottom rotor plugged into that. So you can have the bottom rotor not turn at all. When you put it on high, then the bottom rotor won't turn. Or you can turn the switch on, and then the bottom rotor will turn when you put the Leslie in tremolo. So that's basically how that works. Now the neat thing about a Leslie is that as this turns and the horn that is putting out the sound comes near you, obviously it gets louder because it's pointing directly at you and the sound is coming at you. But another phenomenon happens with the Leslie that not many people know about. It's called the Doppler effect. As this horn comes by, the tone will actually increase as the horn is approaching you. The pitch will increase, and then the pitch will decrease, only very slightly as the horn goes by. kind of like as a train goes by. If it blows the horn, you'll hear the horn go, "Err." That's what happens while this is spinning in tremolo. So not only do you get the loud and soft as the horn is passing, you also get a slight variation in the pitch as it increases and then decreases as the horn goes by. So that's an interesting phenomenon that happens that adds to the sound of the Leslie. Most people know the Hammond organ by the percussion sound and the Leslie sound. Most rock and roll and gospel and everything like that uses a Leslie because it just makes the sound. So now I'm going to push the Leslie back, and I'll probably leave it out so that you can see it in action, and we'll get it all hooked up, and maybe I won't hurt your ears too bad when I play a little. Well, I forgot to show you guys the Leslie control pedal. With a 31H Leslie, this is the input pins right here. There are 6 pins. 2 of them are fatter, so that you can only connect it one way. And there's a big fat cable that runs the Leslie. Now 2 of these pins are AC power 110. One of these pins is ground. The other pin is B+. Some of the older organs like the B3 and the C3 require the B+ from this amplifier to run the preamp in the organ. There's no power cord to the organ except for the tone generator. There's no power to the amplifier. They use the power supply in this to feed it. Then the other 2 on this particular type of Leslie are both balanced line in across the 2 terminals. Neither one is ground. It's balanced like a XLR microphone. And one of the pins is actually used with DC on it to switch the Leslie from slow to fast. So that's what this pedal does. Normally this would be inside the organ. It's called a Leslie kit, and it wouldn't be in this fancy plastic box. It would just be mounted inside the organ. But I sometimes play my keyboard through the Leslie. I have a mixer that'll drive it enough because it requires a little bit hotter than line level to drive. So you can basically, you plug the Leslie cable in here, the 6 pin. Power goes in this one, 120. There's a small transformer in here that matches the DC onto the balanced line. This is line level in. It's actually high line level in. And then this would switch it from slow to fast. Now there's a jack here. This jack you connect to the jack on the back of the organ so that you can use the switch on the organ to switch it from fast to slow. And there's a fuse on this side to protect the Leslie amplifier. So I forgot to show you that. So now I'll get it all hooked up and see what we can make with it.